Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do something new today, just to do something different. I wanted to cover the story of the two missing children from Idaho, and their names were Joshua Vallow, also known as JJ. He was 7, and his sister Tylee Ryan, who was 17. So I'm gonna just go right into it because this story is crazy, it's long, it's so many people involved, it's so many people dead, and I don't know what is going on, but I'm gonna just go ahead and get into it. So, like I said, the children they went missing. Um, Basically, I guess I'll start from their mom. So they were living with their mom. Their mom name was Lori Vallow, and they were living in Idaho with their mom. And the little boy, he's actually adopted, and the little girl Tylee, she's actually Lori's biological daughter from another guy. And then Joshua, he was adopted by Lori and Lori's husband at the time, and the husband's name was, what was his name? His name was Charles Vallow. Okay, so Charles Vallow um had a nephew who had a son, and for whatever reason the nephew was not raising the son, so Charles, the uncle, adopted the son JJ with his wife Lori and raised JJ with Lori's daughter Tylee, who was also the stepdaughter of Charles. It's a lot. So yeah, JJ is adopted. But he is biologically kin to Charles. So anyway, Charles and Lori was going through a rough patch in their marriage, and they decided to separate. Um yeah, they were not together anymore. And it's a timeline of just crazy events all the way back to last year. So they were estranged. Let's just start there. They were estranged from each other. And on the evening of July 11th at 5500 block of South Four Peaks Place, I believe that was the address. That is where Lori and her children were living at the time. And according to reports, Charles, the estranged husband, went to Lori's home to get his son, JJ. And the brother of Lori was over there. His name is Alex Cox. He was over there at the home as well. And according to the articles and stuff, the husband, Charles, and Lori started arguing. And according to everybody in the reports, the brother that was there, Cox, he was afraid that the argument was going to get physical, so he jumped into the argument between his sister and his brother-in-law. And so therefore he started arguing with the husband, Charles, and then they started physically fighting. And from the reports, the brother picked up a baseball bat and beat Charles in the head with the baseball bat, and then he pulled out a gun and shot him and killed him at the home. That was July 11th. He killed the guy at the home. And what's so crazy about it is afterwards they continued their day and had a pool party at the house. It is crazy. The guy was killed at the home, the dad, and he was killed in front of his son. And I think Tylee was there as well. They were arguing, everybody and stuff. And out of nowhere, the brother pulls out a baseball bat, starts beating him, and then he shoots him. I don't know what in the world he could have been arguing about that would have been that bad for you to pull out a baseball bat and then shoot this man in front of his kids, in front of his family, in the home. And then reports say that they finished off and had a pool party as if nothing happened. They said it was all kind of people there. It was loud music. They just continued on with their night. So for one, that's crazy to me. But yeah, um he killed the husband there. Said he called 911. He was trying to perform CPR on on the husband, but he still died. Okay, so then the next event that happened was July 15th. It was reported that Lori ended up calling the insurance company. She called the insurance company and she was inquiring about his $1 million policy. And she found out that she wouldn't be getting anything because Charles, her estranged husband, had just recently changed her from the beneficiary to his sons. And this had actually came from his sister, Miss Kay Woodcock. So according to Miss Kay, Charles's sister, he and her had a conversation right before he was murdered, and he was telling her that, his wife didn't want him anymore. She was acting weird. She didn't want the son anymore. And he felt like basically something was going to happen to him. And he said that she had a plan that she had to carry out, and that if he got in the way, that quote unquote, there would be angels there to dispose of his body. And so I guess he knew that she was going to attack him. She was going to kill him. I don't know everything that was going on. He claimed that, she was obsessed with death and she was obsessed with spirituality and visions and stuff. He was trying to get her actual help and she kept refusing to go to the doctor. She kept refusing this stuff and things with her got worse. It put a strain on their marriage and he felt like she was out to get him and that she no longer wanted his son. And so he told his sister that. So when he told his sister, he told her that he wanted to change his wife, Lori, from the beneficiary to his sister. He wanted her to be the beneficiary. And then she suggested that, you just put the kids down as a beneficiary, which will be his adopted son, JJ, which I also found out is his sister's grandson. So his nephew, Charles's nephew that I was talking about, is actually his sister Kay's son. And so his sister Kay had a son who had a son was JJ. And then Charles adopted this little boy. And you can also see Kay and her husband in an interview talking about JJ and Tylee wanting them to be home and safe. You know, Kay Woodcock was the biological grandmother of JJ. Kay Woodcock was the sister of Charles. It's twisted up in there. So yeah, she said that Charles confessed to her that Lori was out to get him, and that's why he changed her from the beneficiary. That way, if something was to happen, her knowing that there was a policy, she would get that money. And now it is believed that the murder was not self, it wasn't self-defense as they claimed. The brother was trying to say that it was self-defense. They think it was planned because he was over there, and then out of nowhere you go from beating him with a bat to shooting him. Like, what was going on that bad that you had to do that and in front of his kids? So I don't really know what the heck was going on or what they was arguing about, but he's now dead. And she went looking for his insurance stuff, and she figured out that she cannot get the money. She's seen where it changed I think the sister, he actually did put the sister down as the beneficiary because he also told the sister that if something happens to me, you're going to be the one to raise JJ. So I want you to get the money. That way you can use the money for JJ, the kids, and whatever else. You're going to be basically his parent now, even though she's the biological grandmother. So he ended up putting the sister, Miss Woodcock, down as the beneficiary. When Lori found out, she sent a picture. I don't know if it was a screenshot or she took a picture of the paper where it had Miss Kay Woodcock's name as the beneficiary. She took a picture of it and she sent it to Miss Kay and said, something like, I got 5 kids and, I don't get no money. His sister gets everything. And I think Miss K she didn't say anything back to her. And that was the last time she heard from her. That was in July, shortly after this man died. Okay. So that alone is crazy. So then she ended up taking the kids. That I think they moved to another residence. The residence where he was killed is not the residence where they actually were living when these kids went missing. So let's get into the next event. I'm going to go ahead and jump in with her new husband. Somehow Lori and this new guy, Chad Daybell, got together and they got married. Um Sometime right after her husband dies, she gets married to this new guy. Now let's talk about this new guy, Mr. Chad Daybell. He's much like Lori. He's obsessed with death. He's actually an author and he writes about near death experiences. I think he was a Mormon and all this other stuff. Um, just crazy spirits and all kind of stuff. And you know, whenever I research him, I also found that Chad's wife was mysteriously found dead months before this as well, like the same year. They said they went to the bathroom in the home and she was in there, she was dead. And her name was Miss Tammy. Her name was Tammy Daybell. Her and Chad actually, I believe they met in high school, but they got married in 1990. I want to say they do have children because I seen where he was saying he was having visions of his children and his wife being happy in what 2015 or something. They ended up moving. I don't know, but this man wife is mysteriously dead in a bathroom. And the first autopsy, they claimed it was natural causes, but then they're going back in after all of the events that occurred and these kids are going missing. Now they believe that it wasn't just natural causes, that maybe somebody actually killed her. So they're going back in with that. So his wife is mysteriously killed. Her husband is killed. Now they're together. And now these kids are missing. Um, and what I believe, right after Lori found out that she was not the beneficiary of the kids, that's when she was not the beneficiary to get that $1 million. That's when the kids went missing. So keep up with me, y'all. Keep up. It's a lot of stuff, but I'm gonna try to give this to you in the order I best know how. So in July, July the husband was murdered, the ex-husband. Um, Sometime right before that, Chad's wife was murdered. I'll say that. Um, the wife, she was inquiring about the policy, and then they said JJ, he has autism. I'm not exactly sure what kind. I didn't do all my research on that, but he is autistic and to the point where he has to have a service dog. And a week later, after the death of her husband Charles, Lori was trying to sell the little boy's service dog. Why are you selling this boy's dog? Why would you do that? Like, he doesn't need his dog. And if he doesn't need his dog, what's going on with him? Where is he? So, yeah, she was trying to sell his service dog. According to the reports, the last time anyone seen the children was in September. It showed where Joshua or JJ, the last time he attended school was September 23rd. He went to Kennedy Elementary School in Rexburg, Idaho. And that was the last time he was seen. I don't think they have the exact date, or they may, but I didn't see where they have the exact date where Tylee was last seen, but she was also last seen in September. So, everybody, the dad died in July, and then they ended up moving to a new home. I found that the police in November, they did a search, because the family, they haven't seen these kids, all this stuff was going on. And they went to the police, I guess, or no, they actually went to CPS, and CPS is the one who sent the police to the home to do a wellness search for the kids. That was on November 26th. The mom, Lori, had told um the police and stuff that Joshua, that he was actually at family with I'm sorry, he was with family in Arizona. And I think they only went to check on Joshua because he's adopted. So CPS was involved, and so that's when CPS sent the police, about Joshua. And then that's when the police also found out that Tylee hadn't been seen either. So, you know, they went to the home to look only for Joshua. And the mom had told the police that Joshua was staying with family in Arizona. And I don't know, they didn't really believe that. They found out that he was not with family in Arizona. So the next day on the 27th, they went back to the home and they had a search warrant. So they was actually going to search the house. And when they went back to the home, they realized that shortly after talking to them the previous day, Lori and Chad dipped. They packed their things and they left, and the home was vacant. And so that's when they knew that something wasn't right. And they also learned that not only was JJ not seen, but Tylee was also not seen. And so therefore they just put out an alert that these kids were missing. Family hadn't seen them, the school hadn't seen JJ since September. Nobody's really seen these kids since September, and something's not right. Another weird thing that happened, it actually happened in I believe it's in October. In October, um there was a family member of Lori. His name was Brandon Bordrex. I want to say that's how you say the last name. He was actually the ex-husband to Lori's niece, Melanie. This was in October, you guys. Somebody shot at him when he was driving home from the gym. And they said whoever the shooter was, they fled off in a Jeep. And y'all, the Jeep was registered to Charles Vallow, the deceased husband of Lori. Like, how in the world? This man is riding home and he gets shot or he got shot at by someone that was in a Jeep of her husband, but the husband was dead. So who was it? It was Lori. Lori had something to do with it. I don't know what Brandon had to do with anything, but it's just weird how all these people are turning up dead, you know? Um it's crazy to me. I don't know what's going on, but I don't see where she was charged or she was arrested or questioned. But whoever tried to shoot at this man was in Charles's vehicle months after Charles was dead. And the only person that will likely have access to Charles' items is his ex-wife, because she was his ex-wife, or his wife. She was his wife and he died. So that's crazy. They try to take him out. Another thing that's also crazy is in December, you guys. I'm trying my best to keep up. But in December 12th specifically, Alex Cox, the one who murdered the husband of Lori, was also found dead. He was found dead in the bathroom by his girlfriend's son, who's 25 years old. I think his name was Joseph Lopez. Joseph Lopez, the 25-year-old son of Alex's girlfriend, went home and there he was in the bathroom dead. Like, what in the world is going on? So you got Lori's ex-husband dead, or Lori's husband dead. Chad's wife is dead. They tried to shoot Lori's nephew-in-law. And then her brother, who killed her husband, is also dead. This is just too much. And now the kids are missing, you guys. I don't know what is going on, but it's just too much. So they don't know where the kids are. They up and left, and they ended up finding them, the couple, Lori and Chad, they ended up finding them in Hawaii. And it was January 30th that they were ordered to come up with those kids on that day, like that was it. Like I don't know if they thought they was going to be arrested or what, but they said y'all have until January 30th to come up with these kids. And guess what? It is February 13th, and those kids have not came up. No more details about those kids, nothing. The only new details that they have about those children um is they found the cell phone. I think the cell phone was with the mother. They found the cell phone of Tylee, the 17-year-old. Um they found her cell phone, and they found text messages from her. She was sending text messages. Well, not, they don't think it was her, but October 25th, one of her friends received a text message that said, "Hi, miss you guys too, love you." And the friend was like, "This just don't sound like her at all." And also some money was sent from Tylee. There was like two payments that was sent from her account to a family member, like twice. And it was just weird because it was random. Like, why is random money being sent to my family member? Like, I don't think the family member expected it. It was just like two random payments. Um, and nobody has seen or actually heard from her since September. So nobody knows where these kids are. I'm just gonna tell you, I don't think they're alive. All these people are dead, and I don't think they're alive either. Also, new details have emerged that the two, Lori and Chad, are a part of a cult, which explains their weird fascination with spirituality and death and stuff like that. They said that that Lori thought she was a god, and this is what her ex-husband, Charles, told the sister Kay, who's also the grandmother of JJ. Kay was saying that she thought, or Kay was saying that Charles said that Lori thought she was a god, and that this thing that she had to go forth with was really a part of the cult, and that if he got in the way, that he would die. And he really knew and thought that he was going to die, so he changed his beneficiary to his sister. He ended up dying, and she was going to get the money. And I feel like these kids went missing as revenge. That's what I think. It was either revenge or the kids just knew too much. Because one, the kids already saw their father die, and they were living in a home with Lori, so there's no telling what all they saw, what all they knew, what all they heard. Maybe she didn't want them to say anything and got rid of the kids, or it was revenge for her not getting that $1 million, because he put the sister down, and she texted the sister like, "Oh, I got 5 kids and stuff." And as 5 kids, I mean, JJ is 1, Tylee is 2, and then Lori has another son, and then Charles had 2 more kids, 2 more sons from a previous marriage, so 5 kids. So she was upset she didn't get that $1 million, and then shortly after that, literally 2 weeks later, they were selling a dog. And after that, the kids went missing. So I feel like she was upset because she didn't get the money. I think it was also planned, because it's just weird how this man died, and then her new man's wife died too. Like, I feel like the brother was in on it, which is probably why he had to die, because he knew something, and they killed him too. Now, the Brandon dude, the nephew, or her niece's husband or ex-husband, I don't know what he has to do with this or why he got shot at, but it's obvious she did it or has something to do with it, being that the person was in his car, her ex-husband's car, who was deceased. It just makes no sense to me. They didn't really put out a lot of details as to what he had to do with this case, other than, he was shot at while in her ex-husband's car, by somebody in her ex-husband's car who was dead. So the whole situation to me is weird. It is now February, and the kids have not been seen since September. There's no telling where they are, where their bodies are. They also found video footage of Lori and several other people going to a storage building in Idaho, and they were like numerous times going back and forth with large items, and the police ended up getting a search warrant for the storage building. They went in, and it was really just regular stuff like bikes, clothes, books, photo albums, but it was stuff that you would have in your home. But I guess because they up and moved to Hawaii, they left everything in the storage building. And that was they said they put that stuff in storage around the fall, right around the time the kids went missing. And then the police ended up going into the storage building in November, finding those items. So that lets me know right there that them kids been gone. But just where have they been? I don't know where those kids would be. I believe they may be somewhere in Idaho, like their bodies. Um, Unless maybe Texas. I seen where I think the brother was from Texas. Um, I don't know, but it's just so weird. And my thing is, how are they getting away with this? Like, all these people are dead and nobody knew anything until the kids went missing. Like, this is just crazy to me. I'm sure prior to the death of her husband in July and prior to Chad's wife's death, there was more things that was going on. And I know there was. That's why the marriage between Lori and her husband was going down the drain, because it was just, there was no telling what that lady was doing. That he said that she was obsessed with death. She was crazy, and he knew he was going to die. He knew it, and he went to his sister about it. And he went and changed her name off of the beneficiary. And it's just crazy to me. There's no telling what this man went through. He was trying to see his son. He was trying to get his son, and he was killed in front of his son. And those kids went through a lot of things, and there's no telling what all they endured being with Lori. But somehow this man, Chad and her, got together, and they're off. They're off into the sunset. No kids, no $1 million. And I just really am afraid for Miss K, the biological grandmother, and her family, because like there's no telling what's gonna happen. Like, they done kill all these people. I'm pretty sure the children are not alive anymore. This is just crazy to me. So they have not been arrested. They still out there living their life, which is crazy to me. I don't understand why they have not been arrested. But yes, guys, if you have any more details about this, please put it in the comments, because this story to me was just crazy. I mean, all the people that got killed behind this, all the people that, I mean, the man got shot. It's just too much. And it's too much to deny that they have anything to do with these kids going missing and possibly dying. They're possibly dead. We don't know that because we don't know where they are, what's going on with them. But come on. And the cell phone of the girl is gone. I mean, they found a cell phone. If a teenager doesn't have their cell phone, that's also bad. That's crazy. So, yeah, guys. I wanted to cover this story. I think I was all over the place a little bit, but let's just be real. This story is all over the place, okay? So, thank you guys for bearing with me. But yeah, that was a lot of events with this one case. It's crazy. And I'm pretty sure I know for a fact more details are going to come out, and more details are going to come out. But I really just pray that the kids are alive, because they haven't found them, which is weird. It's like everybody else that they found. I mean, everybody else that were dead, they found. But it's like these kids have not been found. So it's like maybe they are alive, but maybe they just tucked them away somewhere. But knowing the pattern of this family with people just dying, these kids may not be alive. I'm just sorry. They just may not be alive. And it's really sad. But I don't know. It's just the weirdest thing ever, because one of the kids don't deserve it. And it's like, why would you do this? And what was the point? Like, if you wanted to just run off with this man, you should have just done that. You didn't have to do anything to the kids. Maybe the court got the best of them in their mind, and they just lost their mind. They just went crazy. But none of this sounds good. None of this at all sounds good. The things that they're into, the money, like all of this sounds really bad. So we'll see, you guys, what happens. Hopefully there'll be an update soon. And if so, I'll try to update you guys on the update. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you have any other details, or if there was something that I messed up because, you know, like I said, there was just so much with this case. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys will hear from me later or see me later, depending on what type of video I do. Thank you guys so much. Bye.